Hi YouTube. I just wanted to make this video um, since I have time right now, and I don't know if I'm gonna have time tomorrow, and I've been delaying making a video for a really long time. I've been trying to do my what's in my birth bag video for the past like 2 weeks, and the day I was actually going to film that, I went into labor, and so I wasn't even able to show you guys what was in my birth bag. Um, But point is, everything happened so fast that I didn't even use anything that was inside of my birth bag except for one thing that was in my birth bag that we took out before. Um, but I did use like the okay. So, anyways, this is going to be a story time. My labor experience, which was pretty crazy. So I went into labor December 29th. The thing was, I had gone into labor and I had not realized that I was in labor. Um, I think I went into labor around 5 p.m. But the thing was, I was doing so many things. Like, I was cleaning, like, really intensely, just trying to get everything ready and organized, so that when baby got here, everything was, like, ready. We put the car seat in. I cleaned the kitchen, washed the sheets, did everything, and I was ready to like calm down, and I started cooking. And then I felt like, well, I was like sweeping and mopping, and then when I was doing that, I felt like cramps, but they just felt like menstrual cramps. And then I started cooking, and I was ready to eat. I hadn't eaten all day, and I was so hungry, and I was cooking, and then all of a sudden, like, I kind of had to sit down for some of the cramps I was getting. And then I like sat on the floor, and then things were starting to kind of hurt. And then I had to go to the bathroom. So as soon as I went to the bathroom, I went, I sat down, and like something just came out, and I wiped, and I assumed it was my mucus plug, and it was. It was like super, just this jelly substance with a little bit of like blood, and really it was really cool. It was just like this weird like jelly stuff. And then um and then I called my doula, and I told her, I think my mucus plug just came out, and she's like, okay, that's good, like, um like, how are you feeling? Do you feel like you're having contractions? And I'm like, I don't know, like, I think I am. I'm having kind of like mild menstrual cramp type of thing. And then I got up because I had finished like wiping myself, and then I was still on the phone with my doula, and then like this water came out, and I'm like on the phone with my doula telling her, I think my water just broke. And she's like, okay, like, how is it, like clear liquid? Is it like, does it smell? And I'm like, yeah, it's like, it's clear, and it doesn't smell, and it's like all over my underwear, and it's a lot of it. And then she was like, okay, um well, I want you to call your midwife and see what like she thinks about that, and see what like she thinks you should do and whatnot. And by that time, I was like having to stop for each contraction that I was getting, and I couldn't like talk. So this happened within like, so the heavy contractions started like when I was on the phone with my doula, and she was like breathing through them with me, and I was like, and she said it sounded like I wasn't like I was going into active labor. And so then I called my midwives, and they were like, well, is this your first time having a baby? You want to stay at home for as long as possible. It might have not been your water breaking. So just like, if fluid keeps like coming out, then I want you to call me. Okay, so I also tested positive for group B strep. So I was like more worried about getting the antibiotics in time so that baby doesn't get infected. So they were like, if water keeps coming out, you need to come in so we can start you on the antibiotics. And I was like, okay, cool, sounds good. So within that 30 minutes, like my contractions went from probably a 5 to like an 8. And it got to the point where I was like in such a crazy state of mind. I couldn't do anything. Like I was kind of like running. I was in the room and I was like, things went crazy in 30 minutes. And I was like trying to get things ready. And then my boyfriend, okay, so I was in the bathtub and then my boyfriend came in and he's like, what's up? And I was like, I think it's happening. And then, so anyways, so um so within that little bit of time, like things got so intense. Like I was trying to get things ready but I couldn't, and I had to like lay on the floor, and I was just like kind of like breathing through them. And then and then my boyfriend's like being like the sweetest person in the world, and like he literally got everything that I had like mentioned that I needed through this birth. Like he got the crock pot ready, like I was gonna do essential oils in the crock pot, and he got my diffuser ready, and he got literally everything that we needed, like the toothbrush and the toothpaste and everything. And I already had things like set aside, like in my birth bag. I had like honey sticks and like an aromatherapy spray. I had like all my tinctures and essential oils. I had massage things and like just everything that you could have like possibly planned for. I had like red raspberry leaf ice cubes to suck on. But turns out I didn't even use any of that because it ended up happening way too quickly. So we drive to the birth center. My boyfriend's like panicking driving to the birth center. It was kind of funny. And I'm like in the back like having these crazy contractions. So then we arrive at the birth center, and I like could barely walk out of the birth center, walk into the birth center. And I remember being at home not knowing what I was gonna wear, because I was like I wasn't panicking, but it was like the pain was like really intense that I didn't really know what I should be wearing. And there's like all this stuff coming out down there, and it was really uncomfortable. So I just like threw on a robe, put on some slippers, and like I got in the car and we went to the birth center. So by the time we got to the birth center, I'm like titties out, like everything out, like I'm just in this robe, like naked, like I couldn't even close the robe. It was so crazy. And then so they put me in on the little checkup table to see how many centimeters I'm dilated, and I was already 6 centimeters dilated. So they're like, okay, we need to get you in the tub. So then they got me in the tub, and then they start having these crazy contractions. And then, but it's so weird because like in the moment I remember thinking, because I did like a pendulum thing, and then it said I was gonna have 6 kids, and I'm like, okay, if this is how it feels, like I don't think I'm gonna have another kid. And then but then I started like, I don't know, I was just so in my mind, and my doula was so amazing. So anyways, my boyfriend's mom and his sister followed us to the birth center because they had just got home, and then they were like, what's going on? And so by the time we got to the birth center, I think it was like 7 or 7:30 or 8. I don't really remember. Everything went by very quickly. But they had followed us, and yeah, they said the midwife said I was really dehydrated and really like thirsty, really I was into, my body had gone into starvation mode. Hence like I was cooking like this big ass meal because I was so hungry, and I had to stop halfway through cooking that meal. Like I didn't even finish cooking. I couldn't even turn the stove off, put it that way. I had to have someone turn it off for me. And so so they went to go get us, or get me, like food and like drinks. So they got me like coconut water and like these little like Kind bars, which were really good. But point is, his sister had taken the keys to my car, and all the things that I needed were in the car, and the only thing that my boyfriend had brought with him was actually Where is it? This one. My Motherwort tincture. And I'm so happy he had put that into his pocket instead of having it in the birth bag. Um, because were probably gone for like an hour and a half, like getting snacks, and I was like in the tub, like already going doing the thing, like already doing labor. And this really worked wonders. All I did, I think it was like 5 drops of Motherwort tincture on the bottom of my tongue, and then drink water, and it would ease the pain of the contraction, I felt like. And when I didn't, it was every 5 to 10 minutes. I remember like needing it very often and always asking for it. um and my boyfriend was very like attentive to that, and so this really helped. It was crazy how much this helped. And I could tell when it's been like a really long time since I've had it, and I'd be like, Motherwort. It was so funny. But anyways, it went by so quickly. Like, I didn't even realize that, like, that what was kind of, I didn't register with me what was kind of going on. And by the time I knew it, like, they were telling me like, oh, you're doing such a great job, you're doing such a great job. And then they're like, oh, like, we see like baby's head. And I'm like tripping out. I'm like, what the heck? Like, I don't even really feel anything. It was weird. And then I just kept like going with my contractions, like pushing with contractions, and just kind of like going with the flow of things. I was really within myself and like just super like listening to my body. And then they're like, you're crowning. And then my doula started going pa 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 to get me to do this pa 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 thing so that I didn't tear. And so I stood there for such a long time. I didn't feel like it was a long time, but I think it was a long time. And so anyways, um I stretched out like my lips so that I didn't tear. And then by the time I knew it, like there was a baby on my chest, and I'm like, holy shit, this was crazy. And then I felt like so relieved. Well, I didn't even feel like too different. Like, they just put the baby on my chest, and I'm like, okay, like I actually did it. Like, that's kind of cool, because like you go into this process of like being pregnant, and then you're like, holy shit, like I have to push this thing out of my vagina, and you're like thinking how you're gonna do that. But then yeah, you do it, and you're just kind of like, whoa, like that's kind of cool, like I did that. um so this really helped. The